She dialed the wrong number. The billionaire who answered changed her life forever. The midnight message, the rain hammered against the windows of Emma Chen's small apartment like an angry symphony, each drop echoing the chaos building inside her body. At 2:17 a.m. on a cold October night, she gripped the edge of her kitchen counter, breathing through another contraction that felt like her entire world was being torn apart. The power had flickered twice in the last hour, leaving her in an eerie dance between light and shadow. Emma's hands trembled as she reached for her phone, the screen illuminating her pale, sweat-dampened face. Tyler had to answer this time. He had to. She scrolled through her contacts with shaking fingers, finding his name and typing desperately. "Tyler, please. The baby is coming. I can't do this alone. The contractions are 3 minutes apart, and I'm scared. I need you." She hit send before her courage could fail her, then immediately doubled over as another wave of pain crashed through her body. This wasn't how it was supposed to happen. In all her dreams about becoming a mother, she had never imagined being completely alone. Abandoned by the man who had promised to love her forever. 3 months ago, Tyler Brooks had looked her in the eyes and said he wasn't ready for a family. That her pregnancy was inconvenient timing for his career in real estate. That maybe she should consider her options while there was still time. When Emma had refused, telling him she was keeping their baby no matter what, he had packed his things and disappeared from her life like smoke in the wind. Emma tried calling Tyler's number directly, but it went straight to voicemail. His cheerful recorded voice felt like a mockery now. "Hey, you've reached Tyler. I'm probably out living my best life. Leave a message and maybe I'll get back to you." Another contraction hit, stronger this time, and Emma knew she couldn't wait any longer. She grabbed her hospital bag, which had been packed and waiting by the door for 2 weeks, and made her way carefully down the stairs to her car. The rain soaked through her jacket in seconds, and she had to pause twice to breathe through the pain. As she drove through the empty streets toward Boston General Hospital, Emma's mind raced. Her parents were visiting her aunt in California and wouldn't be back for another week. Her best friend Rachel was on her honeymoon in Europe. Everyone she could count on was thousands of miles away, and the one person who should be here was nowhere to be found. The hospital's emergency entrance blazed with fluorescent light, a beacon in the stormy darkness. Emma barely made it to the admissions desk before another contraction brought her to her knees. Within minutes, she was in a wheelchair being rushed to the maternity ward by a kind nurse named Jennifer. "How far apart are your contractions, honey?" Jennifer asked as they moved quickly down the corridor. "About 2 minutes now," Emma gasped. "This is happening so fast. I thought first babies were supposed to take longer." "Every baby writes their own story," Jennifer smiled. "Is your partner on the way?" Emma's heart clenched. "I don't have a partner." "It's just me," Jennifer squeezed her shoulder gently. "Well, you're in good hands now. We'll take excellent care of both of you." Meanwhile, 30 floors above the sleeping city, Gabriel Stone sat in his glass-walled office, reviewing quarterly reports under the soft glow of his desk lamp. At 35, he was the youngest CEO in his company's history, having built Stone Tech Solutions from a small startup into a major player in the software industry. Success had come at a price, though. Most nights found him alone in this office, married to his work in a way that had cost him his actual marriage 3 years ago. His phone buzzed with a text message from an unknown number. Gabriel frowned, glancing at the clock. Who would be texting him at 2:30 a.m.? He opened the message and felt his breath catch. "Tyler, please. The baby is coming. I can't do this alone. The contractions are 3 minutes apart, and I'm scared. I need you." Gabriel stared at the screen, his mind racing. This was clearly meant for someone else. Someone named Tyler. But the raw desperation in those words hit him like a physical blow. Someone was in labor, alone and terrified, reaching out for help that apparently wasn't coming. He should probably just ignore it, or send a brief message explaining the mistake. But something about the situation reminded him of his sister Grace's difficult pregnancy 2 years ago. She had been lucky to have their entire family surrounding her. This woman had no one. Gabriel found himself typing a response before he could second-guess himself. "I think you have the wrong number. But are you okay? Do you need help?" He sent it, then immediately wondered if he was crossing a line. But when no response came after 10 minutes, his concern deepened. What if something was seriously wrong? He tried calling the number, but it went straight to voicemail. A soft voice said, "Hi, you've reached Emma. I can't come to the phone right now, But leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Emma. At least now he had a name. Gabriel made a decision that would change both their lives forever. He grabbed his jacket and headed for the elevator, his mind already working through the logistics. If this Emma person was in labor in Boston, she would be at one of the major hospitals. He could check them all if necessary. His first stop was Massachusetts General, where a helpful night clerk checked the system, but found no Emma admitted in the last few hours. Same result at Brigham and Women's, but when he arrived at Boston General, the receptionist's face brightened. Oh yes, Emma Chen was admitted about an hour ago. She's in labor and delivery. Are you the father? Gabriel hesitated for just a moment. I'm here to help, he said carefully. Which room? Room 314. Take the elevator to the third floor and follow the signs. As Gabriel made his way through the quiet hospital corridors, he questioned every step. What was he doing here? This woman was a complete stranger. Yet something deeper than logic was driving him forward. A pull he couldn't quite explain. Back in room 314, Emma was in the final stages of labor. Her world narrowed to the rhythm of contractions and the encouraging voice of Dr. Martinez. She had tried calling Tyler 3 more times, but he never answered. The hurt was sharp, but it was being overshadowed by something more powerful, the fierce determination to bring her baby safely into the world. I can see the head, Dr. Martinez announced. Just a few more pushes, Emma. You're doing beautifully. Emma bore down with everything she had, drawing on reserves of strength she never knew existed. In that moment, she wasn't thinking about Tyler's abandonment or her fears about single motherhood. She was focused entirely on meeting her child. At 4:23 a.m., with a final tremendous effort, Emma brought her daughter into the world. The baby's first cry filled the room like music, and Emma burst into tears of relief and joy. She's perfect, Dr. Martinez said, placing the tiny, squirming bundle on Emma's chest. Congratulations, Mama. Emma looked down at her daughter's scrunched red face and felt her heart expand in ways she never thought possible. Hello, Luna, she whispered, the name she had chosen months ago. I'm your mama, and I love you so much. Outside in the hallway, Gabriel heard the baby's cry and felt an unexpected surge of emotion. He had arrived just in time to witness this miracle from afar. He stood frozen outside the door, suddenly uncertain about intruding on such an intimate moment. But then he heard Emma talking softly to her baby, her voice filled with love but also with an underlying note of sadness that made his chest tighten. She was alone in there, experiencing the most important moment of her life, with no one to share her joy. Gabriel knocked gently on the door. Come in, Emma's tired voice called. He pushed the door open slowly and stepped inside, taking in the scene before him. Emma was propped up in bed, her hair damp with sweat, holding a tiny baby wrapped in a pink blanket. She looked exhausted but radiant until she saw him, and her eyes widened in shock. I'm sorry, Gabriel said quietly. You sent me a text by mistake earlier. I was concerned when you didn't respond, so I came to make sure you were okay. Emma stared at him, trying to process through her post-labor haze. This tall, well-dressed stranger had received her desperate message and had actually come to check on her. You came to the hospital because of a wrong number text? You sounded scared and alone, Gabriel said simply. I couldn't just ignore that. Tears welled up in Emma's eyes, but this time they weren't from pain or sadness. They were from the overwhelming realization that a complete stranger had shown her more kindness than the father of her child ever had. I'm Gabriel, he said, taking a careful step closer. And I'm guessing this little one wasn't supposed to arrive quite so dramatically. Emma managed a shaky laugh. This is Luna, and no, definitely not part of the plan. Nothing about this has been part of the plan. Gabriel's expression softened as he looked at the baby. She's beautiful. Congratulations, Emma. The way he said her name, with such genuine warmth, made Emma's heart skip. Here was a man who had driven through a storm in the middle of the night to help someone he'd never met. The contrast with Tyler's selfishness was stark and painful. Thank you, she whispered. For coming. You didn't have to, but I'm so grateful you did. Gabriel smiled, and Emma noticed how it transformed his entire face, from serious to genuinely kind. Everyone deserves to have someone celebrate with them at a moment like this. As Luna slept peacefully in her mother's arms, and the storm outside began to quiet, Emma found herself looking at this unexpected guardian and wondering if some mistakes were actually meant to happen. If some wrong numbers were actually right in ways she never could have imagined. Neither of them knew it yet. But this accidental text message would become the foundation of something beautiful, something that would heal old wounds and create new possibilities neither had dared to dream of. In a world full of disconnection, sometimes it takes dialing the wrong number to make the right connection. The night that had started with Emma's desperate plea for help from someone who would never come had ended with the arrival of someone who would never leave. And in the quiet of that hospital room, with dawn beginning to break outside the windows, the first chapter of their unexpected love story began to write itself. Hearts aligned. 3 weeks had passed since that stormy October night, and Emma's small apartment had transformed into something resembling organized chaos. Baby Luna's sleeping schedule remained a beautiful mystery, and Emma found herself existing in a haze of feeding sessions, diaper changes, and stolen moments of sleep whenever possible. The morning sun filtered through her kitchen window as Emma stood at the counter, bouncing Luna gently while trying to manage a cup of coffee with her free hand. Her phone buzzed with a text message, and she smiled when she saw Gabriel's name on the screen. "Hope you and Luna are having a peaceful morning. Left some groceries outside your door. Nothing fancy, just essentials. You don't need to thank me." Emma opened her front door to find 2 bags filled with fresh fruits, vegetables, baby formula, and her favorite brand of coffee that she had mentioned in passing during one of their conversations. Attached was a small stuffed elephant with a note for Luna's collection. Gee, this had become Gabriel's pattern over the past weeks. Quiet gestures of support that never felt intrusive or overwhelming. He seemed to understand instinctively that Emma needed help, but also needed to maintain her independence and dignity. Never once had he made her feel like a charity case or a burden. Emma settled Luna in her bouncy seat and pulled out her phone to call Gabriel. He answered on the second ring, his voice warm despite the early hour. "Good morning, Emma. How did Luna sleep last night?" 3 hours straight, which felt like a miracle. Emma laughed softly. "Gabriel, you have to stop bringing us things." "You've already done so much." "I'm not doing anything I don't want to do," he replied, and she could hear the sincerity in his voice. "Besides, taking care of people is something I learned from my sister. She taught me that sometimes the best way to love someone is through small, consistent actions rather than grand gestures." Emma felt her heart flutter at his casual use of the word love. She knew he hadn't meant it in a romantic sense. But something about the way he said it made her wonder what it would feel like to be truly loved by someone like Gabriel Stone. "Would you like to come over for coffee later?" she found herself asking. "I mean, if you're not too busy running your empire." Gabriel chuckled. "My empire can survive without me for an afternoon. I'd love to see how Luna's doing with that new mobile I brought her." 2 hours later, Gabriel sat on Emma's couch looking remarkably relaxed in jeans and a navy sweater, holding Luna with the confidence of someone who had spent plenty of time around babies. Emma curled up in the armchair across from him, cradling her coffee mug and watching him interact with her daughter. "You're a natural with her," Emma observed. "Do you have children of your own?" Gabriel's expression grew thoughtful. "No, I don't. My marriage ended a few years ago and we never had kids. Part of the reason it ended, actually. She wanted to start a family, but I was so consumed with building the company that I kept saying, 'Not yet, not yet.' By the time I realized what I was sacrificing, it was too late." Emma studied his face, seeing the regret there. "Do you wish things had turned out differently?" "For a long time, yes," Gabriel admitted, gently adjusting Luna's position as she dozed in his arms. "But lately I've been thinking that maybe everything happens for a reason. If my marriage had worked out, if I'd had children then, I wouldn't have been available to receive your text that night. I wouldn't be here now." Their eyes met across the room, and Emma felt something shift between them. The air seemed charged with possibility, with words that neither of them was quite ready to say yet. "Can I ask you something personal?" Gabriel said carefully. "You don't have to answer if you don't want to." Emma nodded, setting down her coffee cup. "Tyler, the person you meant to text that night. What happened there?" "I mean, I can guess from the situation, but..." Emma sighed, looking down at her hands. "Tyler Brooks. We dated for almost 2 years. When I told him I was pregnant, he said it was bad timing for his career. He actually suggested I consider taking care of it, so we could start fresh in a few years when he was more established." Gabriel's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. That must have been devastating. It was. But you know what the worst part was? When I said I was keeping the baby no matter what, he didn't even try to change my mind or work things out. He just left. Like our entire relationship had meant nothing. Like I meant nothing. Gabriel was quiet for a moment, processing her words. I'm sorry you went through that. But I have to say, his loss is profound. Any man who would walk away from you and Luna doesn't deserve either of you. Emma felt tears prick her eyes. Sometimes I wonder if I made the right choice. Single motherhood is hard, Gabriel. Really hard. Some days I feel like I'm drowning. Gabriel stood up carefully, still holding Luna, and moved to sit on the arm of Emma's chair. Look at me, he said gently. Emma raised her eyes to meet his. You are one of the strongest people I've ever met. You're raising a beautiful, healthy baby on your own while maintaining your freelance design work. You're doing an incredible job, even when it doesn't feel like it. How can you be so sure? You've only known me for 3 weeks. Gabriel smiled, and Emma noticed the way his eyes crinkled at the corners. Because I've been watching you. I've seen how you light up when Luna smiles, how you research every little thing to make sure you're doing right by her, how you push through exhaustion because you love her more than yourself. That's not weakness, Emma. That's heroic. Before Emma could respond, there was a sharp knock at her door. She frowned, not expecting anyone, and looked at Gabriel questioningly. Emma, I know you're in there. We need to talk. Emma's blood ran cold. Tyler's voice, unmistakable and unwelcome. Gabriel immediately stood, instinctively protective. Do you want me to answer it? Emma shook her head, steeling herself. No, this is something I need to handle. She opened the door to find Tyler Brooks looking every bit the successful real estate agent he prided himself on being. Designer clothes, perfect hair, practiced smile. But Emma noticed things she had overlooked before. The calculation in his eyes. The way he seemed to be performing rather than simply being. Hello, Tyler, she said coolly, not inviting him in. Emma, you look great. Motherhood suits you. His eyes moved past her to Gabriel, who was still holding Luna. Tyler's expression hardened. Who's this? A friend, Emma said simply. What do you want, Tyler? I want to meet my daughter, Tyler said, his voice taking on what Emma recognized as his closing the deal tone. I've been doing a lot of thinking over the past few months, and I realize I made a mistake. I want to be part of her life. Emma felt Gabriel tense behind her, but he remained silent, letting her handle the situation. Funny timing, Emma said. Where was this revelation when I was 7 months pregnant and scared? Where was it when I was in labor alone? Tyler had the grace to look ashamed. I panicked, okay? The whole thing felt overwhelming. But I'm ready now. I want to do right by both of you. Both of us? Emma's voice sharpened. I want us to be a family, Emma. The 3 of us. I've missed you, and seeing how amazing you look with the baby, we could make this work. Emma stared at him, wondering how she had ever thought she loved this man. His words felt hollow, motivated by guilt or social pressure rather than genuine care. Let me see her, Tyler continued, stepping forward. No, Emma said firmly, blocking his path. She's my daughter too. I have rights. Gabriel finally spoke, his voice calm but carrying an undercurrent of steel. Rights are earned through responsibility and presence. Where were you when Emma needed you most? Tyler's eyes flashed with anger. And who are you exactly? The new boyfriend already? That was fast, even for you, Emma. That's enough, Gabriel said, moving to stand beside Emma. I think you should leave. I'm not going anywhere until I see my daughter and talk to Emma privately. Tyler shot back. Emma felt Luna stirring in Gabriel's arms and realized her daughter could sense the tension in the room. That was all the motivation she needed. Tyler, look at me, Emma said, her voice steady and clear. You had 9 months to be ready. You had countless opportunities to step up, to show me that you cared about us. You chose to walk away. That choice has consequences. People change, Emma. I'm different now. Maybe you are. But I'm different too. I'm not the woman who waited by her phone hoping you'd call. I'm not the woman who made excuses for your selfishness. I'm a mother now, and my daughter's well-being comes first. Always. Tyler's mask slipped, revealing the petulant man underneath. So what, you're just going to play house with some stranger? What kind of mother does that make you? Gabriel stepped forward, his presence suddenly formidable. That's completely out of line, but Emma held up a hand, stopping him. This was her battle to fight. The kind of mother who surrounds her child with people who show up, Emma said firmly. The kind who chooses consistency over convenience, kindness over selfishness. You want to be in Luna's life? Then prove it. Show me consistent, reliable interest for 6 months. Prove that this isn't just guilt or ego. Tyler's face reddened. You can't keep my daughter from me forever. I'm not keeping her from you. I'm protecting her from disappointment. If you're serious about being her father, then act like it. Consistently. Starting now. Tyler looked between Emma and Gabriel, clearly realizing he wasn't going to get what he wanted today. This isn't over, he said. Yes, it is, Emma replied calmly. The version of us that you're imagining never existed. We're co-parents at best, if you prove you can handle that responsibility. Nothing more. After Tyler left, Emma closed the door and leaned against it, suddenly exhausted. Gabriel was looking at her with something like awe. That was incredible, he said softly. You were incredible. Emma smiled shakily. I can't believe I ever thought I loved him. Standing next to you, the difference is so clear. Gabriel carefully placed Luna in her bouncy seat and turned to face Emma fully. What do you mean? Emma took a deep breath, knowing she was about to cross a line they had both been carefully avoiding. I mean that in 3 weeks you've shown me more genuine care and support than he did in 2 years. I mean that when I look at you holding my daughter, I see tenderness and strength. When I think about the future, She trailed off, suddenly unsure. Gabriel stepped closer. When you think about the future, what? I see you in it, Emma whispered. I know it's crazy. I know we barely know each other, and I come with complications and... Gabriel silenced her with the gentlest kiss, soft and questioning. When they parted, his forehead rested against hers. It's not crazy, he said quietly. I've been falling for you since that first night in the hospital. You and Luna both. I just didn't know if you could feel the same way. Emma's heart soared. Really? Even with all the chaos that comes with me? Gabriel smiled, the expression transforming his entire face. Especially with all the chaos. You've brought life and purpose into my world in a way I never expected. I love your strength, your fierce protectiveness, your late-night phone calls when Luna won't sleep. I love how you make me laugh and how you challenge me to be better. And Luna? Luna is part of you, which makes her part of my heart too. If you'll have me, I'd like to be the father she deserves. Not to replace anyone, but to be there for both of you in all the ways that matter. Emma felt tears streaming down her face, but this time they were tears of joy. Yes, yes to all of it. 6 months later, Emma stood in Gabriel's kitchen, now their kitchen, watching him make breakfast while Luna babbled happily in her high chair. The morning light caught the small diamond ring on Emma's left hand, and she still sometimes couldn't believe this was her life. Tyler had kept his word about staying involved, visiting Luna every other weekend and gradually proving that his change of heart was genuine. But his presence in their lives had settled into something manageable, a co-parenting relationship that put Luna's needs first. He had even grudgingly admitted that Gabriel was good for both Emma and Luna. Emma's parents had visited the previous month and had instantly fallen in love with Gabriel. Her mother had pulled her aside and said, I haven't seen you this happy since you were a child. This man loves you the way you deserve to be loved. As Gabriel turned from the stove with a plate of pancakes, Luna clapped her hands and reached for him. Gaga! She said, her version of his name. Gabriel's face lit up as he bent to kiss the top of her head. Good morning, princess. Did you sleep well? Emma watched them together and marveled at how naturally they had become a family, not through obligation or social expectation, but through choice and love and the daily decision to show up for each other. What are you thinking about? Gabriel asked, noticing her contemplative mood. Emma smiled, moving to wrap her arms around his waist. Just thinking about wrong numbers and right timing, about how sometimes the worst moments lead to the best outcomes. Gabriel kissed the top of her head. Are you saying you're grateful for Tyler's abandonment? I'm saying I'm grateful for everything that led me to you, even the painful parts, especially the painful parts, because they taught me to recognize real love when it finally showed up. As they sat down to breakfast, Luna babbling between them and the morning sun filling their kitchen with golden light, Emma reflected on the incredible journey that had brought them here. A desperate text sent to the wrong number had become the foundation of the rightest thing in her life. Sometimes love doesn't arrive in the way you expect it. Sometimes it comes in the form of a stranger who shows up in your darkest hour and decides to stay. Sometimes the wrong number is exactly the right call, and the mistake that changes everything is the most beautiful accident of all. Emma had dialed the wrong number. But Gabriel Stone had answered with his heart, and in doing so, he had given her and Luna something more precious than she had ever dared to dream of. A love that would never leave, a family built on choice rather than chance, and a future filled with endless possibilities. In the end, that was worth far more than any perfect plan could have been.